Next on Worcester News tonight, after a landmark Supreme Court ruling, should Massachusetts legalize sports gambling? A local expert weighs in. Plus, the Burncoat football team receives grant money to help keep players safe. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. We are tracking some severe weather right now. Worcester County is under a tornado watch until 9 p.m. tonight. Thunderstorms are moving through the Worcester area right now. Here is a look outside of our studio. We've seen a lot of lightning and are getting reports of some storm damage around the area. We'll get a check of our full forecast a little later in the show. A somber day at police departments around the country as they remember officers lost in the line of duty. Peace Officers Memorial Day also hitting home at two central Massachusetts departments. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us live now with the story. Brittany?
Olivia, Ronald Tarantino Jr. was an officer in both Leicester and Auburn. He was killed in the line of duty 2 years ago, and both departments say they remember him every day. Flags are at half staff at both Auburn and Leicester police departments as they remember one of their own on Peace Officers Memorial Day.
Obviously a special meaning to us, just losing one of our officers 2 years ago, and there's not a day that goes by that one or more of us doesn't bring up some memory of Ron.
To us is very, very timely because of Officer Ron Tarantino.
Officer Ronald Tarantino Jr. was murdered in the line of duty 2 years ago next Tuesday. He was an officer in Leicester for 7 years before transferring to Auburn.
We'll always be thinking of Ron. There isn't a day that goes by that we don't think of him. But when you get to the anniversary of his death, that's a difficult day. That's a difficult day for the officers who worked with him.
Leicester Police Chief James Hurley says around 140 officers are killed every year in the country. He says on a day like today, everyone should remember the women and men who died working to keep the public safe.
We're in a profession when some type of serious crime going on, when other people are going home to check on their families, the police officers are the ones saying goodbye to their families and they're going out to do a job.
Here's a person that's willing to put themselves out there and you killed that person. So I think it's overall it's a little bit shocking, I think, to society in general.
Auburn Police Lieutenant Scott Mills says it's the community's continued support which has helped them through a tough 2 years.
Whether it's the National Memorial Day or the Police Week, or we're always taken care of by our community, and our community was unbelievable, and they continue to be even 2 years later.
Mills says there'll be a bridge and highway dedication in honor of Tarantino on Monday. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A driver is revived with Narcan this morning after crashing on Route 9. The Westborough Police Department posting pictures saying the driver was unconscious when first responders arrived. It happened early this morning in front of the Target in Westborough. Paramedics administered Narcan and rushed the driver to the hospital where she is listed in good condition. Fire Chief Patrick Purcell says Narcan administration is now a part of training for all firefighters and paramedics.
Narcan on pretty much every piece of apparatus that we have here at the fire department. The police department also has been brought up to speed within the last couple of years. They use it as first responders if they get to a call before us, but every police officer has been equipped to carry Narcan in Westborough.
The driver is facing multiple charges, including operating under the influence of drugs and negligent operation of a motor vehicle. A Worcester business owner is sentenced to 14 years in federal prison Monday. According to the Telegram, Kevin Perry was sent back to prison after admitting to financing his restaurants and other city properties with drug money. Perry owned the Usual and the Blackstone Tap. He was in prison in 2005 for selling ecstasy. Perry pled guilty in October for multiple charges, including money laundering and fentanyl distribution. A day after the Supreme Court ruling on sports betting, reaction is coming in about whether or not Massachusetts should legalize the action here. Our Rosalind Flaherty talked to an area economist about the impact such move could have on the state's economy.
Holy Cross economics professor Victor Matheson says most people in his field would agree sports betting should have become legal a long time ago.
Now that you've seen kind of an expansion of gambling everywhere, you might as well expand gambling, the type of gambling that people actually like to engage in.
The Supreme Court voted 6-3 to allow states to decide whether or not to legalize sports betting. Currently, Massachusetts law doesn't allow for it.
Everybody's betting anyway. Why pay the bookie the juice? Pay the state the juice.
Why not, let the state make money? So I 100% believe they should.
Matheson says this vote could benefit the professional sports leagues and local casinos.
People are more interested in watching games that they have a bet on. We're adding casinos to Massachusetts right now, and it's a very natural extension of the casinos. Again, it would make gamblers happy.
But he says there are negative side effects, including addiction leading to financial issues and bankruptcy, as well as corruption in college athletics.
We know that LeBron James is not betting on games because he's got too much to lose. But unpaid college athletes, those are the ones that you might have to worry about corruption in the sport.
He says if Massachusetts does vote to make sports betting legal, it could bring in millions of dollars of tax revenue a year.
It's probably somewhere in the vicinity of 1/10 to 1/4 of what the current state lottery brings in.
Now, Governor Baker says it is something the state should look into. It's unclear when a decision could be made. Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
It's election day for several towns across central Massachusetts. In Northbridge, marijuana and the Community Preservation Act are on today's ballot. If passed, question 1 would ban recreational marijuana establishments from operating in town. In Sutton, Monday, voters banned retail marijuana establishments but allowed home growers. Meanwhile, in Northbridge, question 2 would adopt the State Community Preservation Act. It would increase local property taxes for residents and businesses to fund things like historical resources and housing. Opponents say it's too expensive for taxpayers.